Welcome to parts number 5 of the Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse playthrough. Now in this part, we visit, without a doubt, the worst level in the game. It's a terrible level. But at this point, we are trying to get into Dracula's castle. We are looking for entrances into the castle, and there are two ways you can do it. You can either take the underground way and go through the catacombs, or you could just go through the castle courtyard, I believe. Now, I highly recommend you go through the courtyard because the underground way has the worst level in the game. Without a doubt, it's just the most boring, tedious level in Castlevania history. It's that bad. It's a terrible level. But first we have this level. It's not too bad. I'm pretty sure it's only a couple minutes long, and you really shouldn't have any trouble with it. It's a fairly standard level. But the next level, it's just, they tried to make this a boring snooze fest. They must have tried. It's that bad. I'm not gonna lie, it's that bad. It's the worst level in the game. And to top it off, they have the worst music in the game for it. So not only is it a boring, slow-paced, tedious level, it has the worst music in the game to make it that much worse. I swear, they were trying to make the level bad. There's no excuse. I mean, there is no excuse for the next level. And this video, I'm only doing 2 levels, and this level is only 3 minutes long. The other one is nearly 12 minutes long. That is unacceptable. There's no reason why it should be 12 full minutes long. And you may be thinking, well, is there a way to speed it up or something like that? Nope. You literally are just waiting for half the level for blocks to fall down from the ceiling. I swear, they weren't even trying. Like, I'm serious. It's just that bad. And anybody who's played the level knows how terrible it is. But anyways, we're coming up to our boss here. It is the Frankenstein monster once again. Now, I'm pretty sure there is no way for you to encounter both Frankenstein monsters in the same playthrough. So I'm okay with them reusing the same boss, because I'm pretty sure there's no way you can get to both of the levels. I'm pretty sure anyway. So, you know, I don't really care that they reused the boss. I don't really think it's laziness on their part, because they obviously wanted you to fight the Frankenstein monster, so if you put it on both pathways, there's really no way for you to avoid him. So, you know, I have no problem with it. Some people may say that it's, you know, lazy game design, and they should have made another boss, but personally, I don't really care, because as far as I know, there is no way to encounter both of them on the same playthrough. So here we are, we're at the worst level of the game. And as I said before, this level is just so boring. There is one part where you are literally required to just wait for blocks to fall from the ceiling so you can advance. There's nothing you can do to speed it up, and it takes forever. I don't know what they were thinking with this level. This is not fun at all. It's just so boring and so tedious, and you'll be seeing as the level goes along. It's just, it was like it was designed to be a boring level. That's really all, it's all it is. It's a boring level, and I don't know what they were thinking. So I'm not gonna talk about this snooze fest for 12 minutes or whatever. Instead, I'm gonna talk about something else, because let's be honest, no one really wants to hear me talk about this level for the next 10 minutes. So, if you remember a couple months back, it was during the Minish Cap playthrough that I gave out my PlayStation Network name, and I asked people if they wanted to compete for the best times in Sonic Generations. Now, when I put that there, I expected, you know, some friendly competition. I expected someone to casually compete with, you know, just for fun, something to do while I was bored. I did get somebody to compete with. However, it is not any type of friendly or casual competition whatsoever. In fact, it has developed into a rivalry. I am now in a rivalry with a YouTuber by the name of Deedster96. And I'm really into competing with him because it's just, I want to be the best at Sonic Generations. You know, I'm not gonna lie, he's definitely better at the game than I am, but that does not mean that I am going to lose to him. In fact, I am going to beat you, Deedster96. I am going to beat every single one of your times, eventually. It's gonna take me a while, but I'm gonna do it. And this whole rivalry has really taken up a lot of my time. In fact, I've kind of fallen behind on some of my videos, especially some of the upcoming challenges, so it's been taking up a lot of my time, and I wish it hadn't been taking up my time. I should have stopped way before now, but I've just been playing it so much, just trying to beat his times because he's really good at the game, but I can beat him because, you know, I'm the best. Not really, but I don't know, it's really fun for me to try to compete with someone. I don't really have the opportunity to compete with people all the time, just because most of the games I play, they're usually single player, so I don't really have that much competition to work with. And if you would like to join me and Deedster in our competition, and you have Sonic Generations for the PS3, leave a comment below. I'll send you a friend request, and you can join the competition. Anyways, this was the part I was talking about. I'm literally here for the next 2 minutes just waiting for these blocks to fall down. It's so boring. It's so tedious. Why did they feel like this was necessary? And they do not fall down randomly. They fall down in a set pattern, so once you know what you're doing, you're gonna do it every time, and it's just, I don't know why they did this. It's just so boring. And this goes on for way longer than it should. I don't know, it's a bad level. It's clearly the worst level in the game, without a doubt. I mean, I don't know. This could have been so much better. They could have made an underground level so much better than this one. But there's really no use in complaining. Anyways, back to my topic. I've literally spent the past month trying to beat his times. Oh, I almost forgot. I will put a link to Deedster's channel in the description of this video. If you want to check him out, he does playthroughs of Sonic games. So if you like Sonic, then you may like him, so go check him out, give him a chance, why not? And as I was saying, he's really good at Sonic Generations, definitely better than I am. But I've been practicing, I've been getting a lot better, and I'm slowly beating his times one by one, and eventually, it won't be for a while, but eventually, I will defeat all of his times. I will become the Sonic Generations master, and he will be jealous of all of my times. And when I say eventually, that will probably be 2 to 3 years from now. Oh, good, we're finally done with that section. That section literally took like a couple minutes, and it was just unnecessary. I mean, it really was. You know, sometimes I feel like I could be a better game designer. You know, I just see some of these games, and I just see some of the design choices they make, and it baffles me. I think, why would they do that to the player? And sometimes I think that I could be a better game designer. But, you know, I'm not really interested in entering that field. You know, I don't really want to work with video games for my job. I always want this to remain a hobby because, you know, sometimes video games, they can get frustrating, and if it was a job, I would have no choice but to continue playing them. So I don't want to be involved in the video game field at all. I don't want to play them for a living. I don't want to design them for a living. I don't even want to test them for a living. I don't want to do any of that. So I just want this to be a hobby. You know, it's just, I could not imagine, like, playing video games or designing video games for a job. And even if I was some sort of game designer, I'd still make mistakes. You know, I I can't really blame these game developers because, you know, sometimes they make mistakes, but when the mistakes are so blatantly obvious, it makes me wonder if they had enough time to actually develop the game, you know, properly. This level just feels like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just if I was designing a game, I would go into it saying I would want to design a level that I would want to play. That would be my design philosophy. But here, who would design this? I don't think anybody would like to play this type of level. It's so boring, it's so slow, it just doesn't feel like a Castlevania game. The music, it's just... I don't know, I guess the music is sort of fitting. It's not like the worst track ever, but, you know, it just doesn't feel like Castlevania. It really doesn't to me. It just feels like a generic underground theme, and, you know, this game has a great soundtrack. I'm not gonna bash the soundtrack or anything, but it's just some of the themes, you know, they're just okay. They could have done so much better. I don't know, that's just my opinion on these things. This one level is really the only, you know, problem I have with the game, besides the difficulty, but it's hard to say whether difficulty is a flaw in a game or not. I mean, if the game is so hard that no one could ever complete it, then that's definitely a flaw, but if the game is just difficult but still beatable, like this one, then I don't know whether to consider that a flaw in the game or just a design philosophy. I don't know, but if I was making these games, if I was making Castlevania games, I'd definitely make them as hard as this one. A lot of people seem to think this game is really hard, and it is, but, you know, it's not the hardest thing ever. With practice, you know, not too much practice, but with enough practice, you can easily beat this game. Anybody can beat this game. You know, if anyone played, like, Castlevania 1 and they tried to beat this game, they could do it with a certain amount of practice. I don't think it's as impossible as everyone seems to think it is. I mean, this game sort of has a reputation of being one of the hardest games on the NES, which it is, but unlike some of the other games on the NES, this game feels beatable if you just put the time into it. It's one of those games where if you put enough time into it, you should be able to beat it. I don't know, maybe it's just me. It's been a while since I, you know, played this game for the first time, and I can't exactly remember. I do remember having a lot of trouble with the game, but I can't exactly remember how long it took me to beat it. I'm just going to assume that I beat it after a certain amount of time, you know, after enough practice, because, it's like I said, it's not impossible. I don't think it's as hard as people say it is. And, I wouldn't recommend you play this game unless you've played some of the other Castlevania games. Like Castlevania 1, that's a good game to play before this one, simply because it has a similar difficulty level. Like, this game is obviously harder, but playing the first game will get you ready for the challenge that this game sets forth. But anyways, here is the boss for this level. It is just like the boss we saw in the ghost ship, except there are 3 coffins instead of 2. And the third coffin will have a boss that we haven't seen yet. The first 2 we've seen before. I think we faced the other boss, the third one, like, just by himself in another stage. It might be in the courtyard. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't really mind this coffin boss. You know, it's kind of cool to fight, you know, 3 bosses we saw earlier in the game. It's not terrible. It's not like they use this coffin style like every single level. They only use it a few levels, so I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. But once again, some people may have a problem with it because, you know, they're reusing bosses, and some people hate it when they reuse a boss in the game because it just means that developers were being lazy, and I don't really think that's the case here. I see your argument, but I don't think that's the case. But here's the third boss. It is a devil type thing. It jumps around the room, it shoots projectiles at you. If you have enough health, you should be able to whip it and you'll be perfectly fine. But here I only have one hit and I'm dead, so I have to be very careful. But it's a pretty simple boss. You shouldn't have any problems with it. Anyways, I will see you all in part number 6. Until next time, this is UAA signing out. I'll see you guys later.